Hey, it's Dr. Fred, TMT. Hey, I'm a spiritual being on a human journey just like you, and as we go through this together, we get to really have our divinity as our reference point, live at a higher conscious, fulfill our soul purpose. So my question today is, who is in your mirror? So we have the most powerful tool every day that is right in front of us that we can use as a reference point to really attain a higher spiritual consciousness. And so many times we just pass by and we have these experiences with no awareness, with each opportunity to be the potential to really help us tune in to who we are divinely, a spirit on a human journey. And what's that tool? Hey, it's a mirror. Look at this. Whoa. So I have two questions, because here's a really powerful tool, and here's how you make this a really powerful tool. Two questions. One, what do you see? And two, who do you see? So let's I look in the mirror, what do I see? Okay, well, I can see that I probably need to color my hair again because the gray's coming through. I can see, geez, I have these lines across my forehead. I hope those are from really happy expressions my whole life. I have some of these, which might be a little bit of stress lines right there. What else do I see? Shoot, if I flip this around, whoa, that's a magnified view. I can see I got hair growing out of my ears. When did that start? Hair growing out of my ears. So that could be, what do I see? Well, who do I see? Do I see my past in my face? Do I see my past in the energy in my eyes? Do I see the struggle on my face? Do I see a smile? Do I see a frown? When I look in the mirror, do I see my self-esteem? And do I see my self-worth? So what do we see? Those are the physical things. Who do we see? That's who we believe we are. Right? So people go through midlife crisis. Like, they go through an awareness, they go through life, and they call it midlife crisis. Well, I really think it's midlife awareness. I mean, I understand people go through midlife crisis and all of a sudden it's ego-based and they want to do all these things. I'm talking about a spiritual awakening. I think it's a midlife awareness, because then we realize I've gone through all this pain. I've realized maybe that's not who I truly am. Maybe I'm in this career, but it's not my life purpose. Maybe I want to run my marriage at a higher level. Maybe I want to decide to raise my kids differently or to help them out differently. Right? So we go through this midlife awareness. Now, Deepak Chopra says people turn to spirituality because they're tired of suffering. So we get to this point, many times, probably about 4 decades or a little bit more, right? If you're younger than that, maybe you're still in suffering. Hopefully we can find joy. But then we realize, I don't want suffering anymore. I want peace. Why do people just not care about small things when they get older? You know, there's a saying that says people in their 20s care about what other people think. People in their 30s care a little bit less. People in their 40s don't care at all what other people think. People in their 50s realize people were never thinking about them. So we go through this maturity, but it takes decades to get through this maturity. Now, last week I went out to dinner. Jada, my girlfriend, and I and her son Nick went out to dinner with my dad, 87th birthday. Now, he's 87, in his 50s, he found the Lord, but the irony, he was raised in a Catholic church his whole life. How did he find the Lord in his 50s being raised in religion? So that's another question. So, but now he's been helping people. He helps people that are addicts and people that are imprisoned and people with divorces and unwed mothers and all this stuff that he does. He's helped change the lives of so many people and brought them to the Lord, that he's filled with joy. His whole purpose is to contribute to others. So at 53-ish, he found the Lord, and now my girlfriend Jada loves, she says after that dinner, I love to be with your dad. He has so much peace in his eyes. Now, I guarantee you, in his 40s, he did not have peace in his eyes. Okay? I was raised with him. Now, isn't it fascinating how our parents watch us grow up, yet we watch them grow up? And I watch my dad go through the anger of his past. You know, I remember walking on eggshells sometimes when he came home from work and he was tired. And now he has peace and he has joy, and it emanates from him. I bet when he looked in the mirror in his early 40s, it'd be a very different impression from now when he looks in the mirror in his 80s. My question is, do we have to wait decades to get there? I don't think we do. So when we look at with eyesight, What do we see? The pain of our past, gray hairs, all these things. When it gets closer, it's even more scary, right? And versus who do we see? Now, what if we look with insight? Who do I see? I see a child of God. I see someone that was made in the perfection of God. I see that I have every characteristic that is for me to fulfill my soul purpose and you to fulfill your soul purpose, right? Who do you see? In form. Now, can we believe that? Now, are you going to have moments where you're looking like, oh my God, I look tired? Yeah, because you're in human form. So, you know what? Sleep a little bit. Are there things that you want to change? Yes. What do you see? What if there's something you want to change? Then when you come from a higher consciousness, you realize this is just a moment. It's one brief moment in a whole journey of life with a spirit on a human journey. And we can change it. Maybe I want to lose weight. Hey, then I can start exercising and diet. Maybe, I don't know, I want to color my hair. Yeah, I can do that. It's $9 at Rite Aid. Really easy, 15 minutes. Okay, I do it every other week. You know, what else is it? The question is, who do you see? Do you see a divine being that's empowered? Do I see a person that's run by ego or run by spirit? Because there's doing things right and there's doing the right thing. Now, I was flying home from Denver last night. Jada and I we're on a plane, and I landed in Orange County. And I was just standing up, ready to get off the plane. It's late. I'm hot. I want to get home and get in the shower. I got to get up at 5. And so I'm just sitting there very peacefully, and I see this guy sitting in the row in front of me. And he grimaced at me, and he mumbled something. And I'm like, what? Are you talking to me? So I got a little closer, and with this grimace, he said, what did I do? And I'm like, nothing. It's all good. And his buddy apologized, and I thought somehow he had some behavioral issue or some trauma he's going through. And I thought, what does he see when he looks in the mirror versus what do I see? What I saw was compassion. Obviously, he's stressed. This grimace, he had his past all over his face. What does he see when he looks in the mirror versus what do I see? I see peace and compassion. He sees stress, offense, and criticism. So with that, how do we change? 3 steps. How do we change what we see in the mirror? Number 1, realize that this moment is one moment. It's a brief moment in a whole life journey of a soul on a human journey. Let it go. Change it if you like, but appreciate where you're at right now, because this is a significant step in your own evolution. So 1, this is just a moment. Let it go. If you want to make a change, make a change. If you don't want to, don't. But we don't have to create self-deprecating language. Number 2, look in the mirror and sincerely, genuinely say, I love you. Now this may seem weird, but man, I remember the first time I did this, I'm like, oh my God, it was actually hard to say, right? And you say, I love you, and feel it. Why? Because how you feel about yourself when you look in the mirror is the reference point to all relationships. It's the reference point to what you see in the world, not only with eyesight, but with insight. Step 3, say, I forgive you. Sometimes, we may have violations and other people feel like they violate us. The hardest person to forgive in our life is ourselves. We find it easy to forgive others if we try a little bit, but forgiving ourselves is hard. Yet again, that's the things that we carry. That's when we look in the mirror. Do you see the pain of your past in the mirror? So number 1, hey, this is just a moment. Let it go. It's a small thing. Number 2, say I love you. Let's get a powerful reference point that we can emanate out into the world. And number 3, I forgive you. Let's release the past. Realize that everything has a place in our soul journey, that we can eliminate the suffering now and go from doing things right to doing the right thing, from an inside out, loving, forgiving reference point. We can love and forgive ourselves, then we can love and forgive others. When we feel blessed, then we can be a blessing to others, and that's your soul purpose. All right, guys, comment, share. By the way, May 14th, we're meeting at Wellness Choice Chiropractic. We're going to go over all these principles. We're going to meet second Tuesday of every month, and we're going to have a discussion group so we can help everybody in person have an immersion experience and elevate their consciousness. All right, you guys, love you. Please share, comment. Thank you. let's take this around the world.